This flag is improperly displayed on common property. You need to remove it immediately or face the fine.
Ma'am, this sidewalk is an easement.
Cold air hit my face when I opened my front door and saw the orange violation taped over my peephole, glowing in the flashing blue light from my neighbor's porch camera while the smell of wet asphalt and burnt coffee hung in the air. It was 6:12 a.m. The notice said I owed a fine of $250 for an unauthorized marking on common property. I looked down at the 1974 flag tile set into the concrete by my sidewalk, the one my dad laid the week he came home from deployment. It had survived kids on bikes and moving trucks. Now, according to the HOA, it was some kind of threat to property values. By sunrise, Karen from the HOA was marching down the sidewalk with her clipboard. I met her at the curb with the paper. She did not even glance at the tile. Non-standard sidewalk decoration. Immediate fine. Possible lien. Her voice was flat. I told her this was about to become the story of HOA fined me for a 1974 flag on my sidewalk. Too bad I am the base commander. She snorted and said she did not care where I worked. That night I went to the clubhouse that smelled like copier toner and cheap coffee and tried to appeal. 3 board members stared. Karen slid the fine back with one red nail and said they almost never overturned these. My only friendly neighbor stared at his shoes and whispered he did not want trouble. That was my line in the sand. I promised myself I would use only proper channels, but I was done being bullied by a clipboard. First step was evidence. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. Every petty warning went in. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call, when Karen reported my visiting sister as a suspicious stranger. Timeline item 2 May 3, 2024 at 9:00 p.m. warning for my porch light being too bright. Timeline item 3 the fine for the 1974 flag. Flipping those pages, I could feel my anger cooling into focus. If they wanted paperwork, I could live in paperwork longer than they could. Next came public records. I had heard that our HOA president loved emailing the city about base people hurting property values. Public email is not private. At City Hall, the clerk brought out a thick stack and dropped it on the counter. The file landed with 63 pages. Complaint after complaint, many aimed at active duty families, cars with base decals, and flags on porches. Sitting in my truck, engine idling, I read every line. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. It is simple law. If you keep crying wolf to officials, they start asking why. I called base legal. I called the city code office. I called the council member whose kid is in ROTC and sent copies without raising my voice. The trap was boring on paper. Our bylaws said any fine over $200 had to be discussed at an open HOA meeting if the owner asked. So I asked. Karen thought I was coming to beg. She did not know I was coming in uniform, with the base public affairs officer, the city code inspector, and a man from the state attorney's office in the back row. The clubhouse smelled like sugar cookies and nerves. Karen opened with a speech about rules. Then she called my name. I stood, introduced myself by rank and title as the base commander, and watched phones tilt up and start recording as I explained flag protection laws and state rules about discrimination against service members. For a full minute, you could hear the air conditioner buzz. Then the city inspector said, on record, that the HOA had no authority to fine anyone for a historic flag tile on a private walkway. The attorney's rep added that targeting one group of residents again and again could be seen as harassment. Neighbors gasped. Someone in the back laughed. Another whispered this was going online tonight. Karen's face went the color of her blazer. She tried to talk over them until the inspector calmly read one of her emails out loud, the one calling us uniformed people who should stay on base. Every eye in the room swung from him to her. The power in that little clubhouse snapped. The flip was fast. The board was told my fine was void, all fees cancelled, and that the HOA's practices would be reviewed. Soon a certified letter hit every mailbox saying the flag policy was being rewritten and improper fines refunded. Karen resigned as president before they could vote her out and got a warning about wasting city resources. Now my old 1974 flag tile is scrubbed clean, with fresh concrete around it that the HOA paid for. Kids chalk little flags along my sidewalk and giggle when Karen's SUV crawls past. I grill in the driveway and share burgers with the neighbor who once stared at his shoes. He told me his kids' class cheered at the meeting video. For the first time, this place feels like a community instead of a kingdom run on fear. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.